I'm Eric Novak, and these are 10 things to know about the 2020 Hyundai Venue. So you think there's enough SUVs on the marketplace right now? I mean, I tend to think that way, and others like me do as well, but not the automakers. They are quite convinced, it seems, that we've all but abandoned the sedan preference for ourselves, and I don't necessarily believe that in its entirety. There still is a marketplace for that. However, that being said, they want to introduce more SUV options, almost fitting every nook and cranny of size and configuration they can think consumers might want. Such is the case with this 2020 Hyundai Venue. It is really their subcompact SUV. It's smaller than the Kona, which is smaller than the Tucson, which is smaller than the Santa Fe or the Santa Fe XL, and smaller than the Palisade. So it basically is this at the bottom end, designed for an urban consumer, someone who doesn't have a lot of need for space but in cargo, but nonetheless would want something that isn't an SUV shape. But that is the whole rationale behind the 2020 Hyundai Venue. Inside this 2020 Venue, it's an overall pretty efficient interior. There's a pretty high roof line, I noticed. And that's one of the things that sticks out in this design. If you go into the top end, there's an optional panoramic moonroof. It's not in this tester particularly, but it is available, giving even more space overall. There is a standard 8-inch center touchscreen. On all trims, you've got your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as standard. On the upper end trims, the top end, the Ultimate, there is GPS navigation available with that. Also, there's a lot of interconnectivity there. You can customize things. The overall touch points, it's interesting. On my mid-size tester, there's colorful, two-tone displays, but you've got the more basic climate controls. You can get into automatic temperature control in the top end Ultimate also, but overall it seems to work well. This trim here, we've got a couple of USB inputs, so not only do you have one, say, for your connecting to the center console, but you have one for charging. You can also look at the way that the efficiency is. Lots of good touch points, tactile controls. These are things that I generally do like. There's a nice little convenient sort of tray here to put keys or coins, little space, little ways of maximizing space. It's an ergonomic type of feature. In something that Hyundai does really well, especially in this car and all of their vehicles, is they know what people like. And here in Canada, at least, heated seats is something that's pretty important. That is available. And on this mid-level trim here, I do have heated steering wheel, which it hasn't been as necessary now as we're now into early spring. But trust me, that really does come in handy, and it's something that's appreciated. One of the weird things about the ergonomic design that it's kind of what I don't necessarily love. The seat belt here. A lot of times, one of the things I love is the adjustable seat belt height. For whatever reason, when I do up this one, because it's not automatic and just the way my seating position is, I find the way the belt comes up my neck is rather awkward. There is a gap here, and it would be nice if I could lower it. It's not something that I love, though, overall. But generally speaking, in terms of ergonomics, this interior works quite well. Now, this is a subcompact vehicle, so we have to keep that in mind when we're thinking about dimensions. And in terms of interior space, now in the front, it's actually pretty good. You can actually extend your leg room for the driver up to 41.3 inches. And that's fine. I mean, I'm someone who likes to tend to have my legs extended when driving. So if you're just driving on your own, that's great, or someone in the front seat. If you need people in the back seat, however, that gets to be a bit of a problem, because as a subcompact, there is not a lot of room. In fact, you're talking a maximum leg room in the rear of 34.3 inches, and that would be ideally with the front seats moved up. Now, I have had my teenagers in the back seat. We haven't done long drives during this test, but when doing so, I'd have to move my seat forward, and it's been somewhat uncomfortable for me, so I could not do long drives. So it's kind of like it's got 5 seats if necessary, but not necessarily 5 seats, if you know what I mean, borrowing on some Canadian historical quotes from a former prime minister there. And as for cargo space, when you have your hatch up, you've got 18.6 cubic feet of cargo space. I was able to do my 3-bin test. In fact, I had a little bit of extra groceries this week, and it managed to get in there, so it's okay. If you need a little extra room with the 60/40 fold-down split rear seat, you'll get up to 31.9 cubic feet of cargo space with the second row and the back. So it's okay, but it's still a subcompact. You got to keep that in mind. Under the hood of the 2020 Venue is a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine that puts out 121 horsepower and 117 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to an IVT, which is an intelligent variable transmission, or Hyundai's fancy talk for their improved CVT. It does have some extra, it's not as linear as a CVT is. It does have some sense of shifting and sort of ranges for gear selectors, so it is better overall. If you're a save the manuals type of person, you're only going to get the manual in the Venue on the base model. So anything above base, and you're going to be in this IVT. In terms of fuel economy, the posted numbers from Hyundai for this 2020 Venue is 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined. That works out to 31.7 US miles per gallon, which is basically about what I would expect it to be. It's, I've actually been doing better in my time here. I'm at 6.6 right now for the week, and that's, certainly a fair amount better. And I find that fuel economy ratings, certainly in the last few years, once the adjustments have been made, have been far more reliable, and I've typically beaten Hyundai's measurements time and time again, so I'm proud about that. So the final of the 10 things to know about the 2020 Hyundai Venue in this review are my thoughts overall. And while I still believe that in general there's becoming too many SUVs on the marketplace, I understand that from what Hyundai is trying to do with this and creating a subcompact category and who they're targeting, I think they've done a pretty good job. I actually got to admit, I like this vehicle for what it offers, for a nice, it's a modern look to it. It's attractive. I've had a number of people ask me, hey, what are you driving this week? What is that car? It looks pretty cool. And I mean, the two-tone colors, which is not all that unique, but is certainly looking good with this vehicle. Overall, I think it's going to be a hit, even though I'm not sure that we need another category. Well, those entrants that are going to be in this category fighting against the Venue are going to have a tough time keeping up. It's priced right. It looks good. Great amenities. I like it. That's it for 10 things to know about the 2020 Hyundai Venue. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching. There's plenty of ways for you to keep connected with me, so check out some of my social media links, suggested videos, and I'd really love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel.